Welcome back, everyone. There's another kind of variable called a bool variable, and it's really important because it is a true or false, and you have to use this a lot. It doesn't matter if you're making apps or games or whatever you're making, you tend to use Boolean variables quite a bit. Just a few examples. For example, in game development, you say, is the character on the screen? Is the character live? Is the game over happening? All of these certain events, and if you're into in-app purchases, for example, is in-app purchase available? It's either a true or false, so it's going to be one or the other. Now, one thing you can do with Booleans is you can make it an int and make it a 0 and a 1. And that's essentially what a Boolean is. It's either true or false, 0 or 1. And it only has those two options. So you use them quite a bit. And a lot of times, for example, on mobile devices, you, for example, say is rotated, yes or no, or can the device rotate, yes or no. There's a lot of Boolean variables, and you use them quite a bit. So let's just go ahead and let's type this in. We'll call this, you can't call it Boolean. Usually Boolean is a reserved word. So you can say bool var. All right, so we can call this bool variable. And then we're going to make this equal to false. Okay, so we go ahead and run this. Make sure everything works. And if we type in bool var, right, make sure it's capitalized, of course. Okay, you can see that it returns a 0. And if we take this as true, you can go and see it as returned as 1. So in some programming language, it actually prints true or false, but you can see that it is either 1 or 0. Now, what some people do, and depending on the environment you're in, you have to, for example, you can go int bool variable, because you can't call variables the same name, by the way, and you can either make it either 0 or 1. It's up to you. Okay. So, and by the way, you can't call the variables the same name. So watch this. If I go int a, it's gonna say no, that doesn't work. Okay, so you can't do that, and it's best that you keep your variables organized too. Another thing that I like to do is I like to say ints, strings, etc. And it's good to do that. And if you really want to, and what I like to do is I say, this is used for blank, because I can't tell you how many times I've come back to a project and I come up with all these variables. And by the way, you should name your variables what they're supposed to be. Int A, int B, etc. is not exactly the best thing to do. If for example, if int A is the score and int B is the player's health, make sure that A is you say int score and player's health, because that is way easier to read than A, B, or X or Y. All right. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.